Talk later, evaluation time's coming.
We are recording.
This time of year, you got to get your priorities. And I guess right now it's this meeting, so. Okay.
Focus.
We ready? Awesome. Everybody ready? All right. Welcome, everybody. This is the Suamico Village Board meeting for Monday, November 17th, 2025. The time is 6 p.m. I would like to call this meeting to order. And just a reminder to anyone in the audience who wishes to come forward and speak on an item, please provide your name and address. Be aware that anything that is brought up could be referred back to staff for review, but as it's not on the agenda, there would be no action taken on that item in all likelihood this evening. So with that being said, I would look for a motion to approve the evening's agenda. Is there a motion to approve? So I have a motion from Trustee Stevens to approve this evening's agenda. Do I have a second?
Second.
I have a second from Trustee Andrews, possibly McKeefrey, but we'll go with Andrews on that one. You can get the next one. All right, so we have a motion to approve the evening's agenda, and that motion has been seconded. Any other questions, discussion on the evening's agenda as presented before us? Seeing none, all those in favor of approving the evening's agenda, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
And those opposed? That motion carries. The agenda is approved. Let's stand and say the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right. Item number 5 this evening is public appearances. This is that point for anyone in the audience who wishes to come forward and speak to the board on an item not on the agenda. Is there anyone in the audience who wishes to come forward to speak on an item not on the agenda? All right, very well. Seeing no one, we will move on. The consent agenda this evening is a lengthy one. Previous minutes of the village board dated November 3rd and November 10th, 2025. September 2025 animal control report, October 2025 financial report, October 2025 rec report, October 2025 municipal court report, item F, 2026 calendar and meetings, item G, Brown County type A notice of 2026 spring election, and item H, fire report for October. Is there discussion on the agenda, of the consent agenda? Trustee Andrews.
On the calendar meetings, I was wondering what people thought about the July meeting, because it's right by the 4th. If we want to maybe look at canceling that one. I know there was, we barely had a quorum last time because it was right,
It's a long weekend.
yeah, it was by the long weekend and everything. We're kind of having that again,
I'd be for it.
so,
Yeah, is there anyone who would be against doing that? I mean, if we have to have a special meeting for some reason, we can.
right, if there's
Always
something,
have to.
something that has to happen, we can do something.
Minister Caker, do you have any consternation with perhaps waiving that meeting, or would you like to hold our feet to the fire on the 6th?
Well, I'm sure all department heads would prefer it happen, but I think we can manage to cancel it.
Well, commendations to the department heads for their
There's strength in
dogged nature in keeping the meetings, and your leadership as well. So I guess with that, are we in agreement then that we'll waive the 6th? Okay. Do we need a motion on that, or can we just?
You don't need a motion.
Thank you. Okay, hey, one comment on item D, the rec report, 150 cars in 90 minutes. So it sounded like the Indianapolis 500. That was for the Halloween event? How many people did you have handing out candy? I mean, when you think about the time in that, 90 minutes, 150 cars going through, those,
It was quite the line. It was a pretty good lineup.
okay.
Yeah.
We should get an officer out there to maybe provide some tickets if people.
What kind of candy did you have? Jeez.
Wasn't just him.
Just basic candy. Yeah, the fire department, the sheriff's department, and we handed out some pumpkins. Historical Society was out there with some pumpkins, so some high school kids.
Oh, wow,
It was a collection, yeah. Collective effort.
that's great.
I actually handed out 0 candy. I let everyone else take care of
You
that.
sat back and watched. Mike is.
Did Steve?
I facilitated.
No. True leader.
No, Steve's not allowed to show up.
No.
Where does it, who provides the candy? Oh, the pumpkins were provided by the Packers, but,
Yep,
Okay.
yep, so the Packers have their
Okay.
spectacular the weekend before, so we get the leftover pumpkins. So it works out really well.
oh,
And then, yeah, just different departments provided the candy.
that's awesome.
My department did purchase some candy.
Well, great. I thought 150 cars in 90 minutes, that's pretty good production.
Yeah, last year we only had 90 some, so it was a good, it was,
Oh,
I think more and more people are looking forward to it. You know, we've been doing it for the last 4 years now, so
that's great.
keep building on it.
Yeah, congratulations. That was a nice event. Sounds like a nice event. Anybody else? If there's, if there's no additional comments on the consent agenda, I would certainly look for a motion to approve. I can offer a motion to approve the consent agenda. Is there a second?
Second.
I have a second from trustee Eckert on that. Any other last-minute questions? Hearing none, all those in favor of approving the consent agenda, please signify by saying aye.
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 And those opposed? That motion also carries 6-0. Okay, item 7, Public Works and Utilities items, East Deerfield Court bid. Director Smits?
Yeah, all right, thank you. Village staff prepared plans and specs following a prior meeting that we talked about East Deerfield improvements along with Deerfield Court using the TID1 funding. We opened bids for the project on November 11th, and we received 3 bids for the project. I've attached a bid tab with all 3 bids, and then I kind of broke out just the lowest bidder, so it's a little easier to read. In 2026, we had planned for these improvements with Deerfield Court. After we talked about it here at the board, we added a sanitary extension on East Deerfield and some additional pavement on East Deerfield. So after we bid everything out, we had the low bid of around 1.66. That does fit underneath the budget that we kind of had going into it. We had around 2.2 we thought available at the closure of the TID. So with the amount that we had projected in 2031, we should be able to facilitate this project comfortably. We've added a contingency and engineering for a total probable cost of about 1.9. So after we reviewed everything from the lowest bid, everything was checked out. We will prepare contracts here shortly after this approval. And we just need to have that contract signed here by the end of this year for the, is it the TID to allow the expenditure? Yep. Something like that. So tonight we would be looking for a motion to approve the contract to advance construction for $1,668,824.95, plus a 10% contingency for $174,582.50, along with our estimated engineering cost of about $77,000, for a total project total of $1,920,407.45.
That's awesome. It's under the estimated.
Yep. So hopefully everything checks out and we don't need all that contingency and we'd be under the 2. But yeah, this will put all new asphalt on East Deerfield from one end to the other, you know, aside from the section that we paved in 2023. It'll have full sewer all the way to we call the Davister property, or the property the village took over a few years ago. So it'll end about the north side of that. And this includes Deerfield Court being fully constructed with utilities, so it'd be a pretty good step in the right direction for the East Deerfield corridor.
Nice.
I have a few questions.
Yep.
When I looked at the 3 bids, 2 areas seem, when I look at the kind of the difference or the delta between 2 of them are almost right on top of each other. And then on the part B, it's half of what the other 2. And then where you talk about the sanitary sewer at the bottom of that page, in part D, it's a third. And that just doesn't pass the reasonability test for me. And I'm just curious to know, do they have something that's unique about all the backfill they're getting? Because it's considerably less.
They're the most local contractor.
Is that what it is?
They are right here in Suamico.
Okay, so it's the transportation, you think? Okay,
Mobilization of the trucking.
okay, that's good to hear.
Yep,
All right, then if that's, I was going to ask if those other two were out of the area.
yes. So Dorner's out of Luxembourg, I think, and PTS is south in Brown County. But Advance has a location right here in Suamico at the end of Bowling Green.
Okay, thank you.
Advance is a really good company. They did the lift station for us, lift station 18 in 2017, 18, I think that was. They just did a deep sewer repair for us. They're one of the better companies in the area for deep excavation and sanitary sewer installation.
Good. All right, thanks for
Yep.
explaining that to me.
Other questions?
And it's not uncommon to have bids with a range of numbers like this. Usually you get one or two really, really competitive, especially if they're looking for a little extra work next year or, but, and again, they're right here in town, so super local for them.
When will they start this?
They could start Deerfield Court, anytime here after we sign the contract. You know, we want to let, East Deerfield be opened up until after winter, to install that sewer, but, they can get started on Deerfield Court at any time. And maybe that's their plan and why they were so aggressive is because they wanted, people often need winter work, contractors like this. So if they want something to do this winter, Deerfield Court's wide open for them.
Nice.
Okay.
Good.
If there are no other questions, we could certainly look for a motion. Do you want to offer the motion? I would offer a motion to approve the awarding of the project to Advanced Construction with a base price of $1,668,824.95, plus a contingency allowance of 10%, totaling $174,582.50, and the engineering cost is $77,000 for a total project cost of $1,920,407.45, utilizing funds from the TID number 1. I just thought of a question. Has there been discussion with the business owners? The business owners in the area are aware of this?
Yeah, we sent them letters.
Okay.
A couple months ago.
Okay.
Andy said contact with some of them.
Any comments back from them?
Nothing negative for me.
Right, me neither.
Okay, I wouldn't expect anything, I just checking. Okay, so there is a motion, I've offered a motion to approve, and that has been seconded by trustee Romas. All right, last chance for any questions or discussion.
Mr. President, can I please ask for a roll call vote?
You sure can.
Trustee Andrews.
Aye.
Trustee Eckert.
Aye.
Trustee McKeefery.
Aye.
Trustee Romas.
Aye.
Trustee Stevens.
Aye.
President Van Rossum.
Aye,
Motion carries 6-0.
excellent. Great. All right, moving on to item number 8. Item number 8A this evening is a two-lot certified survey map for Jack and Betty Atranius on SU 110-2, located on the north side of Wilderness Trail as prepared by Robert E. Lee Incorporating. Zoning Administrator Dunks.
Thank you. We're looking at a 9.377 acre lot here. It is in single-family use. There's an existing home with some outbuildings. All the surrounding uses are also single-family homes. The existing home and the outbuildings are shown on Lot 2. The area is also shown to remain rural residential. Thus, the 2 acre minimum lot size is required. Both lots do appear to meet all the requirements of rural residential zoning. The wetland delineation, or the wetlands, are approximate on Lot 2 because all the structures are already existing. They didn't feel, Brown County didn't feel there was a need to do an official delineation because it doesn't affect the existing homes or structures. They're not gonna be required to remove it. So unless construction of additional buildings were to take place, a formal delineation would not be required. There was no approximate wetland shown on lot number 1, so thus they allowed it to go as is. Your motion for planning and zoning was to approve with the condition of meeting all other applicable ordinances, regulations, and reviewing agencies. Thank you.
Thank you. Are there questions for Zoning Administrator Dunks on this item? Anyone? Pretty straightforward.
I'll offer a motion if,
Please do.
I'd like to make the motion to approve the two-lot certified survey map for Jack and Betty Eterianis, as prepared by Robert E. Lee Incorporated with the following conditions. Meet the requirements of all other applicable ordinances, regulations, and reviewing agencies.
Motion on the floor from trustee Romas to approve this item. Is there a second?
Second.
A second from trustee McKeefery on that one. Any other further questions or discussion? No? All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
And those opposed? That motion carries 6-0. Thank you very much. Okay. Item 8B this evening is a Brown County Intergovernmental Agreement Comprehensive Plan. Administrator Caker, if you would.
Thank you. So back in June, the village board approved a proposal from Brown County Planning Commission to be our main consultant to guide us through the next year's comprehensive plan update. Per state statute, there is a document that needs to be executed between the two government agencies. If it seems redundant, it's because it is, but it really just outlines everything that was in that original proposal that you saw back in June. And if there are any questions, happy to answer.
Is it any different than last time? I mean, the plan before?
Like back in 2016, or the
Yeah,
June
I-
proposal? Oh, I'm
that
not
you-
sure. I didn't check the 2016
Yeah.
agreement. Maybe Steve recalls that.
I don't have a clue what the administrator agreed to at that point.
Okay. It's really just a paperwork administrative box you gotta check off.
Other questions?
Have we reviewed the timeline, and then are we concerned, or are there any questions that we would have with when, like, has the Planning and Zoning Commission reviewed the timeline, and do they agree with how it's laid out, or do they have any concerns?
Well, nothing's changed from the June proposal. The Brown County Planning Commission, or not Brown County, the Village Planning Commission didn't see this agreement. Didn't think it was necessary to show them.
Okay.
I mean, our first meeting with Brown County is in January, correct?
They may come in a December meeting. We're still talking about that, though.
Okay. So I mean, some of those questions and those confirmations that you're looking for and assurances, I would assume that those are going to arise out of that meeting, and that's when we'll have our citizen representatives here in full force. There have been a couple of citizen representatives who have come to the planning and zoning meetings, but I would hope that we would have the full contingency of citizen representatives for those Brown County meetings.
Okay.
Other questions or discussion? Or a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve the intergovernmental agreement preparation of comprehensive plan update with the Brown County Planning Commission.
Trustee Romas has offered a motion to approve the intergovernmental agreement for the comprehensive plan as dictated here. Is there a second?
I'll second that.
I have a second on the end from trustee Stevens. All right, last chance for any questions, comments? Hearing none, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
And those opposed. That motion carries 6-0 as well. Okay, moving right along. We are now getting to item C, which is comprehensive plan discussion, chapter 5, economic development goals and objectives. Zoning Administrator Dunks.
It's just a continuation of your last meeting's discussions. We hit some of the pages during that one and felt like we got far enough, so we moved part of it to the next meeting.
Okay.
It's up to you guys what you want to get into on that.
So do we want to revisit economic development? Go ahead.
No, it's just pages 9900 were the one we talked about revisiting.
Okay. Pages 99 and 100. Let's take a look.
That's not me saying I want to revisit them, I'm just letting you know.
Nope, that's good direction. We went through 99 and 100, though. We
I'm
completed
just
those.
telling you what the minutes say.
Oh, housing, I'm sorry, that's what I thought it was housing. Okay,
Tabled current, and we'll be looking at recommendations on pages 9 and 100. And so what we talked about last time was we would go and look at the recommendations on 99 and 100, and then we would look at housing, if time allows. But that said, I don't really, it doesn't matter.
I thought, according to my notes here, I thought we looked at so I have yes votes and no votes, 1 through 5 here, all listed on my pages 99 and 100 for the economic development recommendations.
I'm just showing you what the minutes say.
Okay.
That's
And
all.
my- Yeah, my notes say we're looking at, is it 99, 100, and then 102. At least that's the homework I did for
I
this.
just had the minutes. That's all I'm going by, President Vanderhausen, are the minutes. I'm not saying those are right or
Last
not.
time we met, we went over pages 81, 82, and then it was tasked to you guys to look at 99 and 100. Sorry, yeah, 99 and 100. Don't recall 102, but I thought it was 99 and 100.
No, it just says 9900, I think, in the minutes.
99.
I'm just reading the minutes from the last.
That's what I wrote down.
We're going to go over those again.
We did not go over 99 and 100, though 99 and 100 sometimes overlap with some of the objectives on page 82 and 83. That might be where the confusion is coming in.
Yeah.
Okay? I wrote my notes then incorrectly here. All right, well, let's just start in on it then. So recommendations. Do you guys want to use the same process, or do somebody have a better idea?
It was moving forward.
Okay? So let's start from the other side of the building this time with trustee Stevens. You want to start by reading us the
All
first?
right, continue implementation of the 2003 Village Center and the new Victory Village Town Center Concept Master Plan, particularly in making the streets and the business center plans more pedestrian-friendly. So you want me to respond to that?
Yeah, you can start
Okay.
us off.
Yeah, it feels like this is one of the winners of what the village has done, and I guess I would say that we would want to continue to invest in making that pedestrian-friendly. I don't know if there's any need for too much more than what we've already had, but I would always want to keep the village center kind of where our investments are.
Okay?
I had this as a 5. I did slat it as being a remove, only because I think that we've done an excellent job of filling that space, and I don't know if we want to really do much more. It seems pretty crowded. But if there's improvements we still need on a smaller scale to widen it, to round it out, not opposed to that, but to have it be in the comprehensive plan. I think it was on the plan, we did an excellent job, it looks great. And we should make room for maybe expanding the other areas that we are gonna go through moving forward.
I gave it the same, 5 and a 0. So at 5, I feel like it was done really well, and we don't need to keep this on the plan. I'm not saying that, and I think I'm saying exactly what you just said. If something comes up that makes sense, sure, we look at it, but to keep it as a focal point on a comprehensive plan, it seems like we have other things we could focus our energy on more. So 5 and a 0.
We just need to go back then and look at the second objective on page 81, because we said we wanted to go forward with that.
Okay.
Well, okay, so some people did.
Oh, because of the
We're-
village sector.
We all did.
difference.
Yeah.
Yeah, we all
Well, okay, page 80, let me go back to page 81.
No, I agree, but maybe we just modify that a
Yeah.
little bit.
Page 81, what I had on that one for my personal vote, right? And that's what this is about, is personal votes. I had a 5 and a 0 on that, too. I think as a group, we came in at 4 and a 1, but since this is individual opinions, and then we all come together and come to a consensus, that's fine. But I'm continuing with my individual opinions.
So I agree with what's been said before getting to me on this. The only provisos I have on that is two areas. So we discussed, really investigating what we could do, if anything, with the brownfield area and the property that's currently in probate as being a necessary or being a potential extension of Vickery, of this city center. And the other piece that we don't want to overlook, I don't think we want to overlook, and there's existing businesses there, but there could be opportunities, that area behind the post office with those businesses, right? And when we get into, whatever happens with the cheese factory and whatever happens with those businesses there. So I raise that concern only because I think there are those two opportunities. If, as a board, we feel confident that we can remove this item and still keep that in our vision, should an opportunity come up, then I'm okay with removing it. If it makes more sense for us to keep this item there and make some mention of those two areas, maybe that's how we get the word out in the comprehensive plan for somebody who is interested in, selling one of those properties or developing those properties or something, by saying, our city center is pretty robust right now. I agree with that being said. We don't want to make it, you don't want to turn it into something that takes its character away, right? But there could be an opportunity, for some sort of, other type of development in those two areas I mentioned.
I agree. And so what I focus on is plans more pedestrian friendly. And then further down here, we talk about the Vickery Village Town Plan as high quality meets small town designs embrace. So I feel like the Vickery Village Town Center is in here enough where I don't think we would lose track of it. That's just my opinion.
I mean, I'm comfortable with however the majority wants to pursue. Trustee Hager?
I think, like they said, 5 and done. I don't know. Certainly if anything would come up about anything, you're going to take a look at things, but, extending the pedestrian friend, I think it's done. I don't know that we have to move on with it.
Okay.
Well, I agree with the 5 also. I think if there's anything that we feel needs to be done in the future with it, I think the board would just automatically make the right decision and just go ahead with whatever improvements would need to be done. So,
Okay. So it sounds to me like we've got the majority, it sounds like the majority, sorry, additional comments?
Administrator Kaker wants to say something?
If I may, and not to try to lean you one way or the other, but typically with these comprehensive plans, you're looking at a very high level and you want to touch as much as you can. One important reason for that is when we apply for any type of grant opportunity, a common question is this included in your comprehensive plan? And if it is, you get bonus points for it. And so when we're talking about the Pratch property and potential brownfields and having to mitigate some of that, you'd probably be looking for grant opportunities. You may want to leave some of this stuff in just for that reason alone. It doesn't hurt to have more stuff in here and then not address it. But if you don't have it in the plan, it's hard to get some of those points in your grant applications.
You're absolutely right on that. So, yes, I would change my mind on that, and I think we should keep it in case there is potential for grant money with something.
The logic is solid. It does create an obvious conflict, though, on what we're doing, right? So we're trying to keep ourselves more focused on, we have a plan, we're going to work on the plan, we're going to keep making the plan a thing. So now what we're doing is we're kind of adding stuff in the plan in case we need to go for a grant. And the question I would have, so is that why it says pedestrian friendly, is potentially we may go for a grant for trails or something? Maybe that's the logic.
Potential.
Yeah. All right, I can understand that logic. It's very governmenty logic.
I am governmenty.
Yes.
So when I hear all that, and thanks for reminding me that this one is really about pedestrian friendly, so I'm supporting what trustee Roma said, but what happens if we were to change the language here and says we're looking to identify grants for brownfield sites that support the development of our village center?
I think
That's really what we're talking about, isn't it?
Well, I feel like as we go through the plan and we build it, right, a lot of the stuff, exactly like you just said, that's important items that we put in there, like, look at using a area or land that, for whatever reason, doesn't suit a different use, whether it be like a brownfield, whatever, and look at ways that we can flip that land into something useful to the village. I don't think, and I could be seeing this the wrong way, I look at what we're doing as sort of a, kind of a gauge as how we've done on what we've done, but I do hope that through the comprehensive plan process, that we add more things in here that are more, I guess, in tune for what we've been talking about.
More focused, more specific?
Or just more, even, yeah, it's focused, or even generic, like, we were talking about that property last time we met, and I think there was a desire in the board, at least partially, that we look at how we can be creative to make that property valuable to the village as a whole, if it isn't to the owner. You know, so that's the kind of stuff I think would be, I'm running on, I'll stop.
So with those comments, is there a revised consensus?
Not for me.
Okay,
There is for me, as far as, that we need to keep that grant option.
do we want to change the wording on this item to be more grant-specific then?
Well, as long as it's in the plan, I don't know if we have to specify it to be a grant or not. I mean,
Yep. Okay. Anyone else? Where's the consensus? Trustee Eckert is unchanged in her opinion on this. Others?
I mean, I can still say that we could leave it in, it's obviously, it's not no harm, no foul to take it out. I would say that, I don't know if we would need to add language to, address the trust, or address the grant situation. And I'm looking at the bullet points in here. Is the master development plan, this new Vickery Village Town Center concept master development plan, is that completed? Do we know? I mean, is it a plan that's kind of 50,000 feet level, not really any kind of main or timeline or anything like that, where we would be not consistent? Like, if that plan is no longer active, we should probably not at least reference that in.
The TIF is done.
Correct. Yeah, I would probably erase or
think,
strike
yep.
a mention of the plan itself
Okay.
and just speak to general terms of historic downtown Suamico, focus on yada, yada, yada.
Yeah, I think the Vickery Village Town Center Concept Master Plan, Master Development Plan has been essentially completed with the revision with the reuse of the fire station that we have and some of the other buildings that have changed and businesses that have been revised and rebuilt there. I think that should be removed.
Yeah, the reconstruction of Riverside Drive back in 2020 or was
Yep.
it 2021? That was kind of the pinnacle moment of that plan, was to make that much more pedestrian friendly, add its streetlights to it, expand it on the park. You've pretty much completed that plan.
So the wording would really be something to the order of maintain a continued focus on the Vickery Village Town Center for purposes of pedestrian-friendly and business site development, something like that. We could reword it.
Something like that. I would remove Vickery Village and say historic downtown Suamico, because it
Okay.
really encapsulates all of it,
Yeah.
right?
Yep.
Agreed.
Are we okay with that?
Yeah.
I'm okay with it.
Yeah.
Okay.
In that case, I would say we can leave it.
Leave it but modified
Yeah.
to remove that master concept
Yeah.
plan. Okay, very good. Okay, trustee McKeefer, you get the next one.
Okay, so are we moving to the 141 corridor? Am I correct in assuming we just discussed all of the Vickery Village bullet points? Or did you want to go through them individually?
It's up to the group. I mean, I think, so promote business in the area. The second item, I think maybe we need to look at these, because the second item
Okay.
is really public access views of Suamico River, Harbor, Bay of Green Bay.
Okay, so then for the second bullet point of promoting businesses in this area that incorporate public access or views of the Suamico River, Harbor, and Bay of Green Bay, then that would be a 5 and keep as well, then I don't have any
Anybody?
Yeah, are we going through? Like, okay, 3 and 1. Only reason because I know, I feel like we've done a really good job with Suamico River. And then maybe we can do more, maybe we can't, with the harbor in the Bay of Green Bay, but those two things, keep it on, keep it focused, see what we can do.
The harbor and the Bay of Green Bay really aren't in your village town center.
At this, well, oh,
Let's hope it does.
That-
Let's hope,
but-
that-
okay, but-
Correctly put it in
Yeah.
the thing.
barring
Yeah.
significant
Yeah.
flooding, let's hope
Yeah.
that doesn't change.
that's fair, now, but now if it doesn't show up later, then, so, okay, I'm gonna switch directly then to a 5 and a 1.
Well, I mean, from my perspective on this, yes, I agree with trustee Romas. We've done a good job with the river as it, when you look at Doctors Park and you look at, some of the access, the walkway, et cetera, in historic downtown Suamico. But, our access views of the harbor and the Bay of Green Bay is abysmal. We've done nothing. And part of that is we haven't had an opportunity, but we haven't also made it a focus, right? So it's not like something where, you have a landowner who wants to, sell their piece of property at the market rate to the village of Suamico so the village of Suamico can have that access. Number one, we couldn't afford it, I'm sure. But there are opportunities that come up that allow us that access. I don't think we've done a very good job at providing access to the bay for the citizens of Suamico. I think we need to maintain that as a focus where possible.
I think we did as good as we could, and Alex kind of brought up, like the bike race or just events along the water or near the water, because that's a lot easier and a lot cheaper to do than acquiring property and taking something off the tax base. So I think we've done just fine on that.
Okay.
You don't want to get too involved. Sometimes you have to let things be.
Okay.
I give it a 3, and and we need to keep it on in case opportunities come up. That, if someone does want to sell their land and we can afford to buy it, and it makes sense, we have to look at it.
Okay.
I think it can stay on, but it doesn't necessarily have to mean acquiring property.
So I have a question of the exercise we're going through here. Is when this gets handed to the planning commission, should we be, just say, let's maintain this stuff? Versus the board is suggesting this is a strategic priority? Because the first two feel like we should continue to maintain, but I didn't hear strategic priority. And so when we think about capacity of dollars and people and the investments and time and all that, we're not going to invest in those two, is what I'm hearing. We're opportunists. If something comes to us, we'll do something. But every one of these is going to end up staying on in some capacity. Maybe a couple will fall off, but we're going to maintain. But don't we want to have a conversation more about these are the ones that are the strategic priorities for the village?
I mean, we can certainly frame it that way.
And I would think too, once you go through all of the chapters, you almost go back, you pick out a couple from each chapter to say, these are our top priorities.
I agree with that. That seems sensible.
I'm sorry to interject there, trustee Stevens, but I also wanted to say I don't like the wording of this one, because the board has been talking about providing public access to the river, the harbor, and Green Bay, but this is saying promote businesses in the
Right.
area. And I would take that as, are we advertising for them? Like, what do you mean by promote businesses? I don't think we have been promoting businesses, because we don't want to get into that game of picking and choosing which businesses along the bay to say, hey, make sure you go over to XYZ bar, right? I don't know that this is a really well thought out objective. And if you want to change it to saying the village of Suamico will, seek out additional public access or views of the Suamico River, that makes more sense to me. than promote businesses, unless you have a different idea on what promote businesses means.
I did. I was thinking promote businesses in this area, but I think yours is actually right, because how would you promote businesses the way I was thinking? I was thinking, like, promote the people to create a business or develop a business. But how do you do that, in those areas, because they're mostly wet?
If you bring
So-
events into the village that promotes business.
Yeah, promotes business, yeah, that's another way.
Promote business activity in
Yeah.
areas that incorporate.
I mean, with infrastructure, right, kind of like what we just discussed on East Deerfield. That to me is the business.
Yes.
If there's a business that wants to come in and where there is a potential, I guess I'm okay with taking out the promote businesses on this. I don't like the idea of picking and choosing one business over another.
Do we need to be concerned with the fact that, to Steve's comment, that the bay and the harbor are not in the village center?
That's kind of misleading too.
Yeah, so we put it someplace else, maybe?
Or just trim it, get rid of the promote businesses in this area and incorporate public access. Or is it a goal? I mean, this goes back to what Trustee Stevens had said. Is, when we are all through these, is it going to be a strategic goal for, the majority of the board to look for access of, for citizens to the harbor and the Bay of Green Bay? Is that going to be a strategic focus? I mean, I'm not asking for an answer to that question right now, but that's just as an example, right? We can have that discussion at a later point. There might be somebody who feels it is a strategic goal, but there are, elements to that. But that's where I'm getting. So could we trim that down to just,
Promote this area.
yeah, promote
Promote the area.
Yeah,
access,
Promote this area to, or, yeah,
okay?
sorry. I interrupted
No,
you.
that was good. All right, grab the next one then.
Encourage the continued development of small retail shops, services, and institutional uses such as the post office and the village center to increase daily activity levels. So first, clarification on my part. Is village center the same as historic downtown Suamico, or is this the village center?
I would say that is historic downtown Suamico.
Okay. Well, I feel like I'm gonna have to give that a 5, because that's a nice little area, but it could certainly grow, and that's where, when I think about that brownfield area, that's what I'm thinking, as in that one. So I'm gonna give that a 5 and a 1. 1 being continued, like digital, 1 continue, 0 don't.
Continue.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, I think it's a 5 too, and to me, a lot of those businesses, I feel like everything that we've done as a village to promote historic downtown Suamico, I think those businesses know that we're here and that we're invested, in seeing their success. When you talk to, there's a Halo meeting again tomorrow. I go to Halo meetings and, very often somebody always makes a comment about historic downtown Suamico, how wonderful it is, what's going on. I feel like it's got a life of its own down there now. I feel like the businesses have, created some, level of camaraderie and, they're almost self-directing in some ways. I do agree that, I think for this particular item, in the interest of making it focused and strategic, I think we mentioned the brownfield areas and we mentioned however we want to put that industrial area, behind the post office and, the expansion of historic downtowns. We focus on those areas. How can we improve the roads, make it more pedestrian friendly? Are there businesses that, that we can support in those areas to expand? Make it really focused. But I think, the Vickeries and all of the other business owners in that area, they've given historic downtown Suamico, they're self-directing it. So I'd like to let them do that. So I wouldn't necessarily be for continuing this in its current form. I'd want to see it more strategically pointed at, the brownfield area and the other areas. Trustee Eckert.
Well, I agree with you with what they were saying. You know, the business owners are the ones doing it. I mean, how much do we want to do? Some things you have to let them occur in their own time. So I don't know. I don't want to get too overly aggressive there.
And I think you're right, because you have some real, when you think about the development of that area, you know, there was at least 3 families involved in doing significant, 3 individuals doing significant development in that area. And I think if there's a piece of property that opens up, they're going to be all over that, potentially.
Which is easier for us. That's the way it should be.
Well, and it's better because they're
Yeah.
directing their own work, their own area, anyway. So I could agree with you. You're saying to get rid of it, remove it.
Let's see. Yeah.
Trustee Andrews.
I give it a 5, and I think we leave it on, just because there's some of the shops in there that, you know, over time, maybe they want to change some of that, and we're here to help encourage that, support that, whatever way we can, you know.
So is there, well, we have one more on the end, 2 more on the end.
I would say that that's one of the success stories, so that would be a 5. I would be supportive of continuing to make investments in this area, whether it be the brownfield sites or potential industrial property that gets rezoned behind it. Because we've talked about this being the focal point of our village. And seems like we'd want to strategically make sure we're controlling and investing in that area.
I would put it as a 5, and I would modify it to state something along the lines of encouraging the continued development of the undeveloped areas such as the brownfield in the post office. I would remove encouraging continued development of small retail shops, services, and I don't know about institutional uses. I guess that could potentially stay in
Like a
there.
park.
What was that?
Like a park.
Like a park, okay. I wouldn't be opposed to that, but again, I would be concerned with going, if the open spots behind the post office, that's fine. It's, you know, it's not developed, but it's pretty congested in that area. If we were to be looking at, I thought we mentioned the section by the post office, and then also the one that is by the fire station, if that's still available, then maybe something could go in there, we would be kind of on the ends, but I wouldn't want to see anything else going in that area there.
Okay, what's consensus on that? It sounds like the consensus was that it's a success.
I like what you said with the undeveloped things, but, you know, again,
I like that change.
a lot of that is and should be beyond our control.
So strategically, what I'm hearing is we want to keep this item on. It's a success. We want to keep this item on, but with modifications to the wording. And that was to remove small retail shop services, institutional uses.
Post office too? That's,
Yeah.
I mean, they redid the building a little bit. That's staying there, right? There's no,
I don't think we want to get rid of our post office. It's a pretty busy.
I mean, but I think when we were doing this the first time, they were even talking about the possibility of a little spot being within this building. But, I mean, that's not up for grabs anymore, but I mean, have you heard? I mean, there's no change.
No.
No. So
Okay.
that's probably
Take off post office.
Probably, yeah,
Okay, everybody okay with that?
unless somebody heard something.
So really, that comes down to encourage the continued development in the village center to increase daily activity levels.
Encourage undeveloped, like you said.
Encourage the continued development in the village
Yeah,
center to
okay.
increase daily activity levels, focusing on outlying available properties. That's how we'd modify that one.
How about just encourage, yeah, I mean, yeah, we can leave it that way, I suppose.
Okay? Next one, then. Ensure new development in the Vickery Village Town Center is of high quality and meets the small town designs embraced by existing businesses. I think to some degree that we've been successful in that, but I don't think it's necessarily because we focused on small town designs embraced by existing businesses. There is that piece of it, you know, that area contains. But I think that there's a lot of other elements to it that aren't necessarily, you know, aren't small town designs necessarily, or small town businesses for that matter, and those too have been successful. So I think that we've had an element of success in this. I'm going to go back to what I said earlier. I think that those businesses have done a great job down there. They're very capable of self-directing themselves. And I think it's really, you know, I think the town center is really on a pace to direct itself and direct its own growth and can manage its own businesses in terms of what's appropriate and not appropriate down there. And I never think that it's appropriate, not always appropriate for government to get involved in, you know, determining, you know, what the best business is for an area. So I would be for, I think it's successful, but I don't think we need it anymore. Trustee Eckert?
To take that out?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fine.
Trustee Andrews?
Well, I gave it a 5, and the developments that have happened in there with, you know, Design a la Mode, Station 1 Brewing, and other things, I mean, it's all been a nice plus, an addition. Yeah, I don't think it really needs to stay in.
Okay. Trustee Stevens?
Again, I think it's one of the more successful things that the village has done. I would get nervous by taking it out because it sets the standards of what that village is going to be about. I'm not saying we're picking the brick and the door colors of buildings, but you are setting a precedence of what you want to go in there. And so my question would be to the board is, if a major retailer came in and says, I want to go on the Greenfield site, which is contrary to the small businesses that are there today, is that something that we would embrace?
I don't think it could.
This is a hypothetical
There
question.
wouldn't be room.
Oh, there would be room. Oh, yeah,
It's a big area,
yeah.
but if possible. I would say, yeah, for me personally, yes, and the reason being that I would be in support of it, it's not, it's not plopping it down in the middle of the parking lot right next to, it's not like a Walmart going in next to Vickery Village. That wouldn't be appropriate in my mind. That would detract. But on the other hand, if you're out on, you know, West Deerfield on a piece of property, you know, that's facing the highway.
Yep, but aren't we talking about Hickory Village here, though?
I know, but the piece of property, the brownfield piece of property that you're talking, I mean, there's big pieces of it, right?
Right.
There's the old minnow farm that's across from the fire station. To me, that would not be a place for a big box.
Right.
Whatever goes in there is going to have to be complementary to what's already existing in the historic downtown center. But then when you move up a little ways from there, and, you know, you get into where the pallets are being built or stuff like that, you know, now you've got more of a forward, in my opinion, more of a forward facing on the highway, and that would, I'd be okay with that.
I guess I would be in favor if we wanted to remove this because we do have covenants and zoning requirements already set in place. It sets the standards for our village. I mean, I just would be nervous that we would lose that downtown charm that we've all worked real hard at to keep.
Okay.
From my perspective, I say it's a 5, and, I mean, I appreciate the comments. We obviously still want to lose that. However, I do believe we've addressed it several times throughout the rest of the comprehensive plan. And we also have built a formal document within our municipal code, design review standards of commercial multifamily industrial development, that gets into detail on what our expectations are of new development within the village. So again, I don't think it's harmful to have it remain in there. However, I do believe it's duplicative.
Agreed.
So I appreciate you bringing up the ordinance. Is there something in this section of the ordinance that does give control either to planning and zoning or to the board to avoid a problem where something is completely out of phase with the rest of that area? And there used to be a design review committee. I think we got rid of that.
Got rid of that, yep.
So I think I saw it was referenced in here that it has to go through the design, but if there is no committee, then is the design review committee now essentially planning and zoning?
It's me.
So that would be my only concern, is that,
That it's him?
yes,
I would be concerned too.
that is my only concern. No, my only concern is that we do have an area that sort of falls under a certain feel and look, and that's the purpose of the area. And if we don't do the existing owners and people in that area service as a village, if we abandon that now. I mean, that was what this area was set up to be. But I also don't know what the confines of the town center overlay district is. So don't know if
I
goes
believe
down.
it goes up between Velp and 41 all the way to pretty much where they come together. So you're up Side Street, you're up West Deerfield. I'm not sure that the church is part of that, and I don't know if it goes as far south as the Brownfield right now. I'd have to look at that map. I haven't,
Okay.
but I know it
Maybe-
goes.
Maybe a goal is to review the town center overlay district.
That might not be a bad idea.
You know, maybe that is the goal.
How about that goal?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But maybe that is the revised goal here, which is to, you know, to your point, Administrator Kaker, review and define, you know, what is the current historic downtown center district. And then to your
Yeah,
your
that solves
point-
my problem.
to the point of trustee Stevens, and so then our strategy becomes one of our strategic focuses. Our strategic focus is redefine, and maybe this goes back to Public Works in part, and staff, redefine what is the historic downtown center. And then within that, our strategic goals are develop the historic downtown center in these areas, the Brownfield area or Side Street. You know, because when you mention Side Street, a big business, Side Street would be attractive potentially for a large business to come in because it's got easy access to the highway, right? And, you know, so would the St. Edward and Isidore, you know, property potentially.
St. Benedict's.
Or sorry, St. Benedict, sorry. Get it right? So, anyway, I think I think there's a goal in there. I think there's a strategic goal in there you redefined, to your point. Anybody else? No? Okay,
Oh,
US Highway 41, 141 corridor, trustee Eckert.
strictly enforce the village's design review ordinance for commercial, light industrial, and multifamily development to create a favorable first impression of Suamico for visitors traveling on US Highway 41, 141. I mean, I guess we've been doing that, and I guess we continue.
Trustee Anders?
We've been doing that, and
Yeah,
I think we need to leave it on. You know,
Okay.
has the design review ordinance changed? Because there's no longer that committee?
No,
Or is
it's
it-
just
it's still
enforced
the
by the
same?
zoning administrator,
Okay.
not me.
That's why I gave this one a 3, because we no longer have a committee and it's just done. No, just kidding. Just teasing you. I give that a 3 and a 1. And the reason for the 3 is that we have gotten rid of the design review committee. And if we're going to be using that, I don't know that when Administrator Dunks ends up retiring, that we're going to have the level of quality that he brings to the table.
Wow. Good thing this is being recorded for Steve later in life. My question on this is, by leaving this in here, do we really have the properties really to focus on and do this development? I mean, there's the Statinsky farm that's up on one side, there's nothing on the west side of 41 that's ever going to be developed from, you know, Lineville to, well, there's that little bit of the Statinsky farm if it's not underwater. But there's just nothing that.
But the other side, I mean, we're working on water and sewer there and paving it, and I think more maybe for the east side.
Okay.
There's water and sewer where West Deerfield doesn't, it has it here and there.
Okay. So what I'm hearing from the group is success and leave it on in its current form. Okay. Next.
consider the proactive purchase and redevelopment of underutilized parcels along the highway corridor, particularly those that do not meet the standards of Suamico's design review ordinance. I think we need to leave it on. And, I kind of scored as a 4. There's always room for more potential.
Okay.
I mean, there's been some demolitions, and you guys like burn a few. But I mean, I don't know that I want to actively pursue buying, but you can certainly say consider.
Are there properties out there like that, though? Are there any properties in existence like that? In that corridor?
You just did a tiny house.
We just did, where did we do a tiny house?
West Deerfield?
We didn't purchase it.
No, we didn't purchase it.
Redevelopment, and that's
But
what
they-
I'm telling you to, you're proactive to purchase it.
No,
So we're
They
talking,
used it, fire department used it for training.
you know, if you were to buy up some of the stuff on the, well, just south of Ken Sports, buy up that and repurpose it for something more attractive. I mean, that's not the best looking building. Some of those on the west side, I mean, we're talking the entire corridor. Most of what's south of Harbor Lights is relatively new and in good shape. The only thing we've, along 41, even acquired was the Davister property, and that was due to the fact that they were underwater with the assessments that we held against their property. So they sold to Village just to get out from underneath it. And then we resold it, but other than that, what have we done to actively purchase or redevelop anything.
What are you going to hope for, though? I mean, you can't get water and sewer there. I mean,
Well, I'm just
You're limited.
I'm stating what this line says,
to be, yeah,
you know, to consider
Consider.
proactive purchase.
consider.
But I guess I don't see where we got a 4 on that, because we haven't done anything to proactively purchase or redevelop anything.
I,
Because we considered it.
And there are vacant
Okay.
properties. I mean,
consider.
there is village-owned property when we talk about the east side, you know, on Veterans Way with the pond.
Well, and at one point, you know, we felt we had too much village property, you know, that we shouldn't be in the real estate business. So we were, you know, we shouldn't be in the real estate business. So I wouldn't be real quick to go out and purchase property like that. Should I say we shouldn't consider it? Well, we can consider it.
Well, definitely consider it,
Yeah.
because, I mean, you may take a piece of property that's ag, and, you know, that's not much on the tax roll, and then we purchase, and there could be a business that goes up there, which is gonna bring in more revenue. So, to consider, definitely, we have to consider.
Consider.
So, it needs to stay on, in my opinion.
Okay. Down the end.
0, and this is more vanilla. This is just plain vanilla stuff that we keep repeating. You know, I mean, I'm struggling with all this, consider this, consider this, consider that. It's not strategic. It's something that we should always be top of mind and proactive. And we could have one statement that says we should proactively look at ways of generating, you know, business and all those things. But to keep this in here is a strategic priority, I would say no. Because I don't see us developing land that's along the corridor, to purposely go out and buy land that's along the 41 corridor.
So would you want to see this, would you be for seeing this, let me ask the group this, would you be for reshaping this? So instead of saying, consider the proactive purchase, and I know trustee Eckert, you won't be for this, but I'm trying to get the strategy piece of, I get where you're coming from on this. Everything is, you know, you're saying it's vanilla. I mean, that's a nice way of saying that it's milquetoast, right? It has no strategy. There's nothing to it. There's nothing measurable in it, right? There's nothing to give us direction. Consider this, et cetera, et cetera. So would you be, excuse me, would anyone be for making this more focused to say proactive, and I'm just going to throw this out there, proactively purchase for redevelopment underutilized parcels along the highway corridor, particularly those that do not meet the standards of Suamico's design review? That's strategic, right?
Or take out design review ordinance, say, for this, to support Suamico's growth. So we would make purchases or help redefine areas along the corridor that would align with Suamico's growth. We're not doing this because we have we're not gonna go out and buy property that doesn't look okay right now? Is that where we would go out and do that? So we don't like some parcel that's along 41, so we're gonna go out and buy it because we don't like the way it looks? Because that's what that says.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's exactly what it says. So take any business that you might consider, or any piece of property that you might consider, you know, going north from, you know, the say Harbor Lights north.
Yeah.
On either side of the highway, and there's a lot of businesses there. Is there a business that's not doing well that's, you know, maybe, you know, is it a piece of property that Suamico would walk up and knock on the door and say, hey, we'd like to buy your piece of property? Is that something that the village is going to do?
And we would do it for what reason?
It goes back to
What this says?
I'm assuming what it is,
Yeah.
yeah.
then I would say I wouldn't be in favor of that because we wouldn't buy property because it doesn't look good. We'd buy property because we want to repurpose it for our growth strategies. That's just my opinion. I mean, I'm sure there's lots of other opinions.
Well, let's hold on
Buy it
that
to
one.
repurpose it, yeah. That's the goal. That's the objective.
If we were to just hold on what you just said, would you mind repeating that?
Oh, man, really?
Yeah. Come on, it
So-
sounded really smooth.
It did, and it doesn't usually come out the second time the same way.
Whatever he just said.
So we would proactively purchase or redevelop parcels along the highway corridor that would meet Suamico's growth strategies.
So I would take what you just said, and I would remove parcels along the highway corridor. And I would make it just a general direction
Yep.
of the board that we look at situations where we can do something outside of what private parties would be able to necessarily do. Essentially greasing the wheels a little bit for those groups. So I agree with trustee Eckert in general, right? We don't want to be realtors, we don't want to be we don't want to be buying land. This is just my opinion, we don't want to be buying land to then sell it to a developer or something like that. But if we can do something with the power and authority of a village that would help a developer or a private entity get over a hurdle, then, in which they would maybe not be able to do otherwise, right? That kind of a thing. Then I would advocate for that. And I think we can scribble out a bunch of stuff in this whole plan, and it goes to my whole feelings sometimes on plans and things where we can sum it up maybe into 1 or 2 paragraphs.
I like what you just said.
That's because I said I liked what you just said, and I just repeated what you said, so.
So did you say that you would keep so consider the proactive purchase and redevelopment?
Of any property.
Well, we are talking about
I know.
this specifically.
But I'm saying yank it out of there.
Oh, okay.
Well, I'm kind of going along more along the vanilla toast, the vanilla toast, whatever concept. There's a bunch of these little articles in here. If you say, consider the proactive purchase, well, we all kind of already went through this process tonight, sort of chuckling while we considered it. Okay, so why even have that paragraph in there? Well, to have the paragraph in there is to create some sort of an energy in the board to look at situations where the board can do something a private entity can't to help a private entity achieve a goal. For instance, maybe getting grants. I mean, I don't know how easy it is for a private entity to get a grant to clean up a brownfield. Maybe it's easier for a village, maybe it's not, I don't know. I've never attempted it in either way.
Then I
And
would
that's what I'm talking about.
I would say then, to your point, we would basically remove that bullet point, move it over into the economic development program or policy. And see if one of those bullet points covers what you're referring to, so it's not region-specific, like yours is more overall.
Whatever the
right?
method, you know, I want to avoid these redundancies.
I would be good with that. I think you move it over into economic development, but I think you also make it more of a declarative statement rather than consider. You know, get rid of consider. It's, the days of consider are over. That lets everybody off. You know, as somebody said, yeah, we considered it. We didn't do anything about it. It was too expensive, or it was this or that. It's got to be specific. It's got to be the proactive. We will proactively purchase and develop underutilized parcels, et cetera, et cetera. That's just as an example. And, you know, is that something that the board supports or
Can
doesn't?
you proactively assist in redevelopment?
Or
It
investigate.
doesn't have to say purchase.
You could proactively investigate the purchase,
Support.
right? Then you're actually doing something instead of considering, which is sort of like, yeah, considered it. It's too easy, to your point, and your point, and your point, and your point.
But would we all agree that the section where it says particularly those that do not meet the standards of Suamico's design review?
Yeah, they should take that out.
Okay.
And then do we move this over to economic development?
Yeah, just,
Okay, can we do that?
Let's do it.
Get rid of the consider, proactively, get rid of the purchase. So proactively support redevelopment of underutilized parcels,
Yes.
particularly those that do not meet the get rid of Suamico's design review.
Consistent with the village's growth.
Proactively
strategy.
support redevelopment of underutilized parcels in the village of Suamico.
Yes, I like that.
Yeah.
Proactively support is important.
Alex, you look like you've got something on the tip of your tongue that's just waiting.
What
I mean,
grant?
it's all
are we-
semantics, right? Like, so supports is also vague. How do we support them?
We use the tools that we have. So if I consider something, I've considered it, no, support, okay, so maybe at that point then, we're looking at this, we'll call it Area A, which is maybe a brownfield. And okay, what can we do to make that more viable? What can we do to support that?
Drive. So proactively drive redevelopment of underutilized parcels in the village of Suamico. Get rid of the, you're right, Alex is correct. Support is like consider. Well, I did support it, we just decided not to support it, to the point of actually doing something.
I'm
But-
happy with drive too, so I'm not gonna argue that they're different.
But, I mean, but my point with drive is, and you're right, it is semantics, but drive is an active, right? It's an active approach. We're taking an active, and when we're looking at the comprehensive plan and we're re-reviewing our limited set of goals that come out of all of this, one of the questions we're going to ask on a quarterly basis is, what did we do this quarter to drive redevelopment of underutilized properties in the village of Suamico? We didn't do anything. Did we have any opportunities? No, we didn't have any opportunities. Why didn't we have any opportunities, Mr. Village Administrator? But that's the path, right? That's where we're trying to get to with stuff that's really got some teeth into it and really is going to show results. It's about results, I think.
I agree.
Okay. Are we good on that one?
I'll consider it. Just kidding.
I'll support it. I'll support your consideration.
And I'll summarize it.
And I'll summarize.
Wonderful. All right, who's got the next one? I lost track.
Yeah, me too.
I am, I guess. Prepare the feasibility study to determine if the land southwest of US Highway 41 and 141 and Northfield Road overpass is suitable for location of a new business park. And I kind of think the next bullet point kind of goes along with that, right?
Yep.
And so
Yeah.
I would say, was there a feasibility study done?
No.
Okay, so that's a zero.
Zero.
And then I would say that from what I'm gathering from sitting through the planning and zoning meetings, the likelihood of that property ever being developed into a new business park is highly unlikely because of the lack of infrastructure, correct?
That would be my impression. You'd almost need something like a AI data center that's gonna
Okay.
create the
got
value
it.
necessary to pay for all that infrastructure.
And we need water.
Which is
We'd-
unlikely.
We'd need water over there too to
Right.
do that, so.
Yeah,
I,
lots of water, you can drain the swamp.
I would be thinking that these two don't stay on and that we evaluate
I support that.
exiting this property. Because it has, what's the value of it to the village?
None.
Yeah,
I agree with you. I think we
Yeah.
look
Yeah.
at putting this piece of property up for sale,
Yeah,
right? Let somebody develop it potentially.
And the thing I like the most about that is what, those two things that we just talked about fit neatly under the thing that we just developed, where we said that we would drive. So these two things could just be gone, because they would fall then under the new directive we gave ourselves.
Which two are you talking about could be gone?
These two that trustee Stevens just read, the prepare the feasibility and determine the cost, those both go away, because we just added one to economic development that would cover both of those.
and we wouldn't use that property to do that.
We just remove the redundancy, we focus on a goal.
So are we good with taking those two out? Anyone?
I support it.
Any comments from staff on that?
Is there some rights of refusal that's going on over there?
There is a right of first refusal for the land north of Northfield. That's with Kent Sports when we sold that back in 2019.
Okay.
And I also think that these bullet points were also directed towards the land that is now the wetland mitigation bank.
Yes.
Yeah,
So it really is irrelevant in part, I believe.
all right.
Okay, so those two are out. Next one.
The next one, evaluate the future use and necessity of continued village ownership of the agricultural lands that are detached from the lands along the east side of the US Highway 41, 141, and Northfield Road overpass.
That's the,
That's your
So I believe that this is all in the same area that we just discussed, is that correct?
Similar, this is the land with the pond on it.
Okay.
So it falls in the same thing we just talked about, just more redundancy, and it's gone.
Well, do we want to take it a step further? I mean, you know, you're talking about evaluate the future use necessity. Let's focus on what, does the village want, what would be the purpose for the village to continue to own this property and not put it up for sale?
there's a plan somewhere. I don't know if it's the recreation plan. There is a reference somewhere about a park,
Yep,
the Northfield Park.
it was talked about.
So it's in a plan somewhere. So that would be the only, in my mind, logical use for the village to use that land at some point in the future. I'm assuming that there was a thought that, you know, residential development would push north, and there would be a lot more residential development in the area. Maybe that still does happen in the next couple decades. That would make some sense as to why you want to park on the north side, because we really don't have any parks north of County B, right?
Right.
So that would be your one park north of County B.
And I really think this is talking about the land that is now the wetland mitigation bank, because it's the land detached from the lands along the east side of
So it's
41.
not talking about that piece of property with the
I
pond.
think
But
it's
Still a
talking,
good conversation.
yes, I think it's the lands
Okay.
of the
Well,
wetland.
let's get rid of it.
Can we put a park in a
You could.
wetland mitigation area?
No.
No, okay.
Pool, put a swimming pool.
Yes, like sensible.
So are we, did we just all agree we're really?
I think we all agreed to take it off, yes?
So the only thing I would want to just point out is that now we've only got one bullet point underneath the 141 corridor, and we just, we're going to be redoing the road, the frontage road, right, which is part of this area. I'm getting the impression that we don't have a lot of opportunity, and it is because of, between B and, what is it, Brown Road, you can't get off. So, I mean, if we don't have any areas to be expanding, then I guess maybe it's not sensible for us to have more than the one bullet point, and this, what we have covers that. But are we all of a sudden somehow not going to have any focus on that corridor as a result of removing these bullet points? And do we want to maybe add a bullet point or two?
Well, I would chime in too that, Stephen, correct me if I'm wrong, but there will be more looks at this, right? Like
Yes.
the Planning and Zoning Commission, the subcommittee is going to be looking at this, and maybe we send them our edits and we say, hey, is there anything else we should be looking at in the corridor? And they can come back with recommendations on additional bullet points for that area. You're
I like that.
absolutely correct, but just know that this isn't the last time that we're looking at this, and this is the final decision on what this document or this chapter will look like. You're going to have more input from your subcommittees.
Okay, then I would support that. That would be my only concern. We don't want to lose sight of it. When you go down to one bullet, one focus, it's going to drop off the face of the earth.
Is there room for another bullet under this U, the Highway 41, 140? I'll reserve that for planning and zoning, I guess. We'll keep it for planning and zoning. Okay, I'm good with it. All right, want to go a little bit further? Lineville Road?
Is it, oh, it's my turn? Okay.
If you'd like it to.
Oh, happily. Encourage regional retail and service businesses to locate in the Lineville Road area to serve the northwestern Brown County and southern Oconto County areas. I gave that a 5, because I'm thinking about Lineville, well, right at the highway. And I think if we go further west on Lineville, you run into wetland, and then you get to urban edge, so I feel like that was well done. I said to continue, but the more I think about it, I'm gonna I'm going to say, there's no need to really continue because the process will continue because it's in the TID.
I guess I feel the same way. I feel like we've developed everything that we can pretty much develop in there, you know? I don't know what additional focus would come of keeping this.
I think we were potentially talking about some residential way further down on Lineville.
To the west end,
Yeah.
Where?
Way further down on Lineville, west.
There's quite a bit of developable area in that section of what Limeville.
Again, we're going back to the water tower and the need to fill that capacity.
I think we get that in that housing section. Don't lose that thought.
Okay. Trustee Anders.
Yes, as far as what we did in the Lineville area with the urban edge, yeah, that's been a huge plus, and give that a 5. I think it stays on because who knows what other areas can pop up. Some of it can be wetland, but, wetlands can be filled,
We have a bank after all.
Okay. Diane.
So the land that's all part of Festival, the bowling alley and the Y and all that parking lot, who owns that?
Midwest expansion for the
Is-
most part.
Is there anything we can do to help increase the tax basis of that parking lot? Because that is by far much more parking than required by code. And so it is such a prime piece of real estate that's asphalt. And my question is, was Shopko gone now? It's a storage place. I mean, it just feels like, is there anything we can do to help encourage more retail development on that property?
Well, Jeff Nelner's a pretty sharp guy, and if he's got tenants that he wants to get in there, he'll approach us, and that's within a TIF district. That happened with the Aldi construction.
Okay.
So we don't have any control over it. It's one of those things that when an opportunity comes up, I'll bring it to the board. You guys can discuss if there's any desire for helping out.
I'm sure he's on that if necessary, but I mean, the way Lineville is under construction right now, that parking lot would be a hazard right now anyway, and we'd have to at least wait till that road is open to even look at anything.
Well, that's this week, right?
I hope so.
Supposed to be.
And I know he is doing some things
But yeah, that's on
to create
him.
opportunities, but
Yeah.
yeah, it's really on Jeff to initiate.
Yeah, I mean, I know he's always looking at that too. I mean, he got the Taco Bell that came in, took up a piece of that asphalt and, yeah. So,
I think I got that.
Okay. All right, what's the next one?
Are we keeping the what? Or not?
We're getting rid of it, or are we keeping it? Encourage regional retail service businesses to locate in Lineville Road area to serve the Northwestern. Are we keeping it or getting rid of that?
I think we keep it.
I think we can keep it.
Well, since you all think we should keep it, I think we should get rid of it.
I'm going to ask a question on this one too. So again, we start off with encourage. Sounds a lot like consider and support to me. And does it need to be more,
No,
no?
no,
Not more specific, not more focused?
no.
Okay. All right, well, we'll leave it at that. I was the only person who brought it up, and I got a strong no, so we'll go move on. I guess I read the next one. Coordinate with the Village of Howard and Brown County to ensure that Lineville Road area is safely accessible by vehicles, pedestrians, and bicyclists. Well, that's done, then I think we just take it off.
Not yet, but
Well, hopefully by the 23rd it will be.
Is that
I
when-
hope
Is
so.
that when it opens, is the 23rd?
I think it's the 23rd, right? Or is it 21st?
The word on the street is the 21st.
21st.
When's Black Friday?
Vegas says 23rd.
Over under?
Yeah,
Okay.
that'll be in a betting app pretty soon, for sure.
That would be bad. All right, so that one comes out. So then the next one, go ahead, Michelle.
Oh, am I reading the next one?
Yep,
What, is it develop a joint effort?
Yeah,
yep.
Develop a joint effort with the Village of Howard to market the Lineville retail area to a larger market area. I think we can take that out.
I would take it out. I don't get it.
same.
Yeah,
I mean, it's already,
Yeah, so that never happened.
right.
However, with the Howard Suamico Business and Professional Association, we do work all together to help come up with ideas to better market those businesses. So it's kind of happening, but
Yeah.
it's separate from this.
But we're not doing regional advertisements in the Milwaukee metropolitan area telling people to come to the Howard Suamico business area on Lineville Road to Jersey.
Well, through the Howard Suamico Business and Professional
Maybe we are.
Association, we did advertise in the Fox Cities magazine to highlight some of the areas in Howard and Suamico.
Okay. All right, well, so we take that one out then? Okay. Trustee Andrews, Economic Development Programs and Policies. Let's knock this out tonight.
Utilize Suamico's natural beauty and recreational assets as a selling point for business and employee recruitment efforts. Well, you know, I don't know how much we've really done on that.
I think you're gonna find out right here.
I mean, we've done some things over the years.
There's some stuff, but
Hey, remember the billboards? Live, play, work here in Suamico, what was it?
There were some videos. I know you guys made some
Yeah.
videos
Yep.
before I got here.
yeah.
Well, we got
That's right.
Katie to join us because of one of those nice.
Only because of the video?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, there's local attractions.
We
I
had
mean,
the signage, there was three focal points.
Yep. So have we accomplished that then? Does it need to remain?
I think it should stay on. There's ways to make it better.
Okay. Anyone else?
it can stay.
Yeah,
Five and a one.
my guess is there's examples, like we can see. Probably not one of our strengths, and it probably should be one of our strengths in the future. As we think about, we're trying to draw people into this community, both businesses and residents. We're gonna have to have a means to do that. And I would get very specific and say, website and social media, tools to promote the natural beauty and about what it says there. So I think we have to continue to use this. This is the technology that people are using to do their own research and make their own decisions.
At the same time, not going so nuts because it's not a tourist town.
Correct.
So I think some of these, and I'm going to go back to what we've been talking about. This is another one of those fluff words, utilize, right? It doesn't give us any specific direction. It's got to be more specific. It's something that we can test ourselves on once the comprehensive plan is done, and we're sitting here and we're doing a review, and we can say, how did we promote the natural beauty and recreational assets of the village for business and employee recruitment efforts? And to do that, we have to have it as a specific goal. We will, right? We will, natural beauty, recreational assets. See what I'm saying? At some point, Alex, I'm not sure, I'm not sure when we get into that level of detail. Huh, who put this out? Who approved this?
So this was an effort through the Green Bay Chamber and the Discover Green Bay. They did this for each community. So they'll post things on LinkedIn. They've got like a concierge program. So if there's let's say Bellin was hiring for a top surgeon, they would invite them to the area. They would give a tour of the community that they thought they might be interested in moving into. So I've been on a couple of those tours, but the Greater Green Bay Your Move was a kind of a pilot program that they put together. Is it helpful? I don't know, but
Sure.
there's things out
I
there.
think that's
Doesn't
great.
hurt.
That's a great example.
So that's the answer to the question. So if this is a goal, and we're reviewing our goals for the comprehensive plan on a quarterly basis or whenever we're gonna do it, this is something that you would bring up to say, here's what we did. Here's what we did to address this goal, to achieve for this objective. One example. All right, so are we keeping, we're keeping this then, obviously. Okay,
Yeah.
next one.
Who's up? Who's the reader?
Think,
Trustee Stevens?
Trustee Stevens.
Me? Oh, focus commercial development in nodes at intersections and major roads to avoid commercial strip development that would not be compatible with Suamico's rural character. I don't know, I can't answer whether we've done, it doesn't feel like we've done that. I can't think of examples where we got strip malls or the same thing repeating itself. So I think we've done a good job with that. And I would encourage us to make sure that that's really kind of at the core of Suamico's, its rural character, so we'd want to continue to have any type of both commercial and residential development in nodes, which is, it's kind of outlined in this book, what a node is.
Well, there's opportunities, right? I mean, there are opportunities to develop intersections and nodes, if you will. So to me, that should be somewhat rewritten to say, develop commercial nodes at intersections of major roads that are compatible with Suamico's rural character. And then again, a few months down the road, we're asking ourselves, have we developed any nodes? Why haven't we developed any nodes, Mr. Administrator?
Because you didn't approve the funding.
Okay, well, then that comes back on the village board, you're right.
So
So-
a good example of that is your Deerfield Court development, right? That's going to make it not be such a strip mall-y type of development.
And we approved those funds.
You approve those funds. So you
Okay.
wouldn't come to me saying that I didn't do it.
What's going to go in there?
Okay, so we're keeping that one then.
Right. Stringently enforce Suamico's site plan and design review ordinance to ensure new and existing development is of high quality that becomes an asset to the village. So I think that this is very similar to the one that we had discussed earlier under the 41-141 corridor, that we had stated that we would move to this area, this section. So I think we should keep it, and I think it's appropriate in this area.
Keep them both, or are they duplicates?
Well, so just the one that where we'd be removing it under the 41-141 section, and, maybe some review, obviously, but I believe the addition of it is more somewhat, it is already in here. So that's my take on it.
It's fine with me. I gave it a 0 and gave it a 1 to continue. The only reason I gave it a 0 is I've seen design review committee and ordinance pop up several times in this document, and we got rid of the committee. So I feel like if we're gonna do something and keep design review in there, it's almost like we have to develop a different process. Unless, we wanna put that all on the shoulders of one person.
Well, the design review ordinance still exists, right? The code still exists. It's just
Yeah.
a matter of who's reviewing it.
Right, and that's my point about just having one person. So you have one person who's now reviewing it. That seems unfair to that one person.
It's actually the board. If you read the design review code, actual municipal code, it does need modification in section 1B. And we would just basically state that the Suamico board no longer, they're not delegating it to the review committee. It would just be the board.
So you're saying if we modify their ordinance?
Yeah, just because we have dissolved the committee, right?
Yep.
But
So
that would
that's
put
a-
us back to the board, and then it wouldn't all fall on.
That works for me, because I feel like as as the group that is actually sort of charging ourselves with making sure that we keep our noses to this plan, it does make sense if we're gonna keep this in there, that we would be the ones who would, at the end of the day, decide whether or not it's worth it to the village to go outside of what we think would be proper design.
So is the action out of this then enforce Swamico's site plan design review ordinance by referring to the board or something like that?
Right, because the ordinance reads today that the board delegated its oversight, these duties, to the committee. So we would just honestly, just probably remove 1B of the ordinance.
Steve, how do you feel about that?
It's your choice. The reason we removed the full committee and made it to the zoning administrators, because we've changed our requirements within our zoning codes to pretty much mirror what design review would require as far as the standards for brick, and we really had everything in design review is ideas and wishes. It didn't have a lot of teeth, which is why we put that stuff within our zoning code to require the 50% brick or whatever the standards are, depending on whether it's business, highway business, industrial, and whatnot. And the delays that occurred with design review only meeting once a month
Yeah.
changed us to a three-person committee with myself, one resident, and one trustee. And we ran that, I think, for 2 years, and there wasn't a single time that they contradicted my staff recommendation. So it's like, why are we continuing to do this when everything's meeting our zoning code and also meeting design review? Why are we delaying stuff and doing all this extra work when the end game is the same? But whatever the board chooses to do,